Now, the State Department continues to point the finger at Bashar Assad's government for Islamic State's advance. That's even after a former US intelligence chief admitted that the American government knew its policies would lead to the rise of ISIL. Let's get more on this now from RT's Gianni Chikian. Gianni, what has been revealed then?
Well, the former director of Defense Intelligence Agency, Michael Flynn, said back in 2012, U.S. policymakers had the intelligence saying that the major driving forces behind the insurgency in Syria were extremists, but supported the insurgency anyway.
Who wasn't listening?
I think the administration.
So the administration turned a blind eye to your analysis?
I don't know if they turned a blind eye. I think it was a decision. I think it was a willful decision.
A willful decision to go support an insurgency that had Salafists, Al-Qaeda, and a Muslim
willful
Brotherhood.
decision to do what they're doing.
Well, I went to the State Department to ask about this willful decision, but received the State Department's default answers to almost all questions related to Syria, and that is, it's all Assad's fault. Would you admit, like Michael Flynn did, that in 2012 the U.S. supported the rise of the forces that we now call ISIL in order to defeat Assad?
I'm certainly not going to talk to an intelligence report that I haven't seen. The rise of ISIL inside Syria was in fact helped by the Assad regime's lack of legitimacy to govern effectively its own people and its own territory.
Well, now, this intelligence report from 2012, which the State Department spokesperson refused to comment on, was released under the Freedom of Information Act. And, you know, it has some strikingly accurate predictions about the creation of the Islamic State. And it also says, quote, there's the possibility of establishing a declared or undeclared Salafist principality in eastern Syria. And this is exactly what the supporting powers to the opposition want in order to isolate the Syrian regime, end of quote. Now, this raises the question, isn't it similar to what happened in Afghanistan, you know, with supporting the Mujahideen who then turned against the U.S.? Or as Hillary Clinton said,
when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of Mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize. We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall.
Well, the Obama administration now says that they support moderate Syrian opposition forces. They say it now. They said it 3 years ago. But according to the director, the chief of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the policymakers did know that not all of those forces were moderate.
OK, thanks, Gianni. That's RT's Gianni Chikian live there from Washington. Well, Saeed Adikat, who is the Washington bureau chief for the Palestinian newspaper Al-Quds, thinks Washington's rigidness contributes to further destabilizing Syria.
I think now it is very difficult to contain the situation in Syria or Iraq. It's very difficult to put that genie back in the bottle. The United States, if it's really intent on defeating ISIS, it has to create or it has to facilitate conditions by which or through which you can have a political resolution. And you begin by saying we want all Syrians represented, including those who look at Bashar al-Assad as their representative. That's the only way. I mean, to continue to adhere to this stubborn line that Assad has lost his legitimacy is basically, you know, agitating for more of these groups to emerge and morph into something else. Today we have ISIS. Tomorrow we might have something else.